Hey everybody, it's Jason High, the grill guy. I'm here with one of my good high school friends from way back when. Actually, it was before high school.
Football.
Football.
Yeah.
He was the Warriors, right?
Yeah.
Yep, Warriors. I was the Mustang. They always kicked our butts, but nonetheless. Hey, this is Bob Kistler, and he is awesome on these smokers. And today, what are we going to be doing today, Bob?
This is not my recipe, but this is going to be called a bacon brisket. It's
Woo,
basically
bacon brisket.
It's just a pork belly. It's a very easy. It requires little TLC compared to doing like a regular brisket.
So your ordinary, everyday person who's just getting ready to learn how to do this could do this.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome.
And I'm gonna take you through the prep on it. It's very simple, and I mean, actually, this piece that I have laying here, I'm gonna split it down the middle, and it'll turn into two separate ones, so you could season it. That takes very little trimming, like a regular brisket would.
Gotcha.
And it's very easy. It's about a 5-hour smoke, give or take. The main thing is temp, and the temp, you want it to be right around 200 degrees, somewhere in there.
Okay, the internal temperature of it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And we're gonna cook it fat side up, so let this fat cap render down into the meat.
So all those juices are just going to suck down right into the fat or the meat portion of it.
And what we'll do is when we get it off the smoker, we'll probably rest it for about a half hour or so, just to let it,
all those juices just soak in and get that.
Yeah.
Where it just gets all over your face.
Yeah.
That's good stuff right
so,
there. Well, good deal.
And we do also have another one here I'm going to throw out. This is more of an appetizer. You can actually do this recipe with pretty much chicken, anything. What I'm going to be doing is some pheasant, and they're called pheasant bites, which I'm going to chunk those up and wrap them with bacon and season them, and they take about an hour. It just depends on when the bacon's done, the pheasant's done.
Gotcha.
So,
gotcha.
We're going to throw a couple at you today, and
awesome. Well, let's walk on through it then.
All right.
I'm going to stand over here.
So this is just a half of a pork belly.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is basically just split this down the middle.
I'll hold this table. I don't have the most sturdiest of tables here.
And you can pretty this up if you want to. I just look it over to make sure there's no stupid little tags hanging off of it. It's not, when you do a regular brisket and trim it, you're
nice and square.
Well, you're
evenly cook it.
You're taking quite a bit off, but
yeah,
I mean, right there, that's what I would trim off of that.
Awesome. So you don't even have to dig into that fat.
No, I mean, you want that fat. The fat's what's going to help you.
Good deal.
Just take some of the ugly off. So right there, that's what it's going to look like. Now when I season this, I'm going to season it meat side first.
Okay.
I don't, on anything that I really cook, I don't hardly ever use a binder of any kind. There's a lot of people that use mustard
or oil or stuff like that. Yeah, and I've used it before, but a lot of times you don't even need it because the meat has enough moisture to where it's going to stick on there anyway. From everything I've done and heard and said and all that. So,
and like I said, this is a very straightforward, simple cook. And actually, as compared to doing a regular brisket, you don't even have to wrap it.
Okay.
I mean, it's just basically throwing it on your smoker. We have it set. We have a Rectec back here set at 275 degrees. That'll be our cook, and we'll just monitor it, probe it, and when we hit around 200 degrees, we'll pull them off, let them rest for a little while, and then cut into them and
awesome.
See how they turn out.
Awesome.
So
sounds good. So
I'm going to use some of this Pit Spirits
pits
rib,
and spits.
Pits
Yep.
and Spits rib rub on this. I mean, I've seasoned them with GSP, garlic, salt, and pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I use just a standard, like when I do pork butts. You season them however you want to.
Yeah. Everybody has their own flavors.
But you do want to keep in mind, though, the salt. You don't want to get too salty with these because this has got kind of a natural salt in it.
Yeah.
And so you really want to be mindful of that.
Gotcha.
So we'll hit this.
Gotcha.
Make sure you get all your edges and ends real good, just like with anything else.
I'm gonna come up over top here so they can see what you got going on here. So see how he's just kind of going over top of it there. You don't really want to rub it in. You just kind of want to pat it in. Is that right?
Yeah, that's all I ever do. I don't.
Yeah.
You don't sit there and.
Even though it's called rub, you don't really rub it. You just kind of pat it in there.
Yeah. So, just make sure you get it.
Get it all the way around, right?
Yeah, I like getting down in these little crevices too, and
yeah,
anything like that, because you want that flavorful bite on everything.
Yep. I've done it to where I didn't get in the crevices, and I've ate that piece of meat, and it's not very flavorful.
Yeah, right? You can definitely tell
a difference. Oh. Yep, give her a good shake it up there. That's got some brown sugar in it, so brown sugar clumps up on stuff, so you just gotta get it shook up a little bit. I don't have an extra fork or spoon out here, but normally what you would do on something like that, if it clumps up like that, take a fork or spoon, dig down in there and get it all broken up. But you can also shake it like Bob's doing as well.
Now all these products we're using here today are everything that Jason has at his store out here.
Yeah. Yep, this is the Pits and Spits rib rub. Very, very flavorful rub, and I've had it on other things. I can't wait to try it on this pork belly brisket. Seems like it goes hand in hand to me. So hopefully I picked the right one, Bob.
Well, we're going to find out. I don't really think that you can go wrong with it. I mean, it's all right flavor,
Right on. All right.
I'm going to try to get some of this extra.
Yep. And see how he has it all covered? It's all about evenly covered. And again, not rubbing it down in there. You don't want to take your hands and just rub. You just kind of want to pat it down in there.
And once again, if you use a binder, that's entirely up to you. I just have never found a real use in it. So
when you're using binders, it's kind of, and I agree with Bob, it's kind of a waste of money because you're taking your mustard or your oil that you could be using for something else and throwing it away because it doesn't really give the meat any flavor. It's just supposed to help that rub bind to the meat,
exactly.
Which I think most meat's got enough moisture in it to where it's going to take whatever rub you're putting on it.
Yeah, especially pork. I mean, it'll absorb.
Yeah.
The only thing I really do a lot though, and the reason I have it with these obviously is because we're kind of doing a informational video here. I typically season them the night before I cook.
Yeah.
And just let them sit. So, and that's but once again, that's preference.
Yeah,
You know,
I do the same thing. I like letting most everything. Some things you don't want to let it sit overnight because it'll start breaking the fibers of the meat up. But pork is very, very forgiving to where you can put it on the night before, or a whole day before. But pork is typically pretty forgiving.
Yeah,
so, but the good thing about putting it on the night before, it lets all that rub sink down into the meat, and it gets down even further than what we'll get today.
And you know, you're not losing a lot of it, like, you know.
Yep.
So, well, I think it's about up there.
All right, let's check it out here. So, again, as Bob said, we're using the Rec Tech 700. It's the RT 700. I've got the set point at 275. We're actually at 263 now. I think we're good enough to go ahead and throw that meat right on the smoker. So we'll set you down here, and then I'm going to open the lid, and Bob's going to put her on here.
Like I said, we're going to cook these fat side up. Where's the best part here?
Do you want the hot spot or?
Yeah, I mean, I want to probably right up here.
Set that one there, and the other one right in front here.
We're going to do these fat side up so that fat cap will render right down into that meat, and we'll have us a nice juicy slab of meat when it's all said and done.
Right on. Now we're going to leave this lid down, because what happens when you don't have the lid down, you ain't cooking. If the hood is up, you're not cooking, and that heat's not staying in there.
Now,
So
a lot of people, you know, this does have the probes. My preference, I'll use them, but they're just kind of a reference point for me. I physically probe meat.
Yep. With a meat probe.
Yep. I'll physically probe them. But you know, if you have them, use them. It'll get you close to where you want to be at.
We've got one here. What he's talking about with the probes, these are meat probes. This comes right along with this Rec Tech 700. But you have that goes inside the meat. You want to get that inside the meat portion of it. You don't want this in the fat portion of it. You want to make sure you put it in the meat portion. But and again, Bob's a professional, so he doesn't
I don't
need
know
this.
about all that.
But anyway, what you would do, and I don't use these too often myself. I just kind of look at it, and I'm just playing around. We're not professionals by any means, but you just plug it into there, and then it would come up. It says probe A is at 47 degrees. You put it into your meat, and it'd give you a register. I don't go by these because I don't think they're accurate. I think using an actual instant read meat thermometer is a lot better accuracy than what these give to you. So when I do use these, it's for the bigger smokes like the briskets, the pork butts, things of that nature, just to get an idea of where the temperature's getting close to before I do anything that I want to do with that meat. Then I'll put my instant read thermometer in there.
And, you know, there's a lot of different kinds of those thermometers out there. I prefer the ones that fold out and, you know, actually gives you the digital readout. Don't use the old school stab with the little gauge on there.
That takes too long.
Yeah.
You want the instant read, because you'll have your hood up when you're doing that, and you want to make sure that you get in there and get out.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll check back in a few hours when these are about done and ready to come off, and we'll slice them and taste test them.
Right on. All right, Bob. So now, what we got going on here? You was talking about the bacon wrap pheasant bites, right?
Yep.
So we're going to walk through that. Bob's going to be using one of our drippies. cutting boards that folds up into a seasoning tub as well. We're going to be using the Grill Your Ass Off Willie's Pete chicken seasoning along with bacon here. So go ahead, let's walk through what we got going on.
Now, like he said, like Jason said, we're gonna be using pheasant, which, you know, it's a wild game. This recipe, you could literally use any kind of poultry, chicken, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a lot of people out there that like to kill the wild game taste.
Yeah.
And you know, and then there's a lot of people that prefer it. I like the gamey taste a little bit, you know.
Sure.
But we're gonna do this and, you know, walk you through it. Nice little appetizer. It takes about, you know, the one thing about like pheasant, if you were gonna do a whole bird, you'd want to brine it. What we're doing is when we wrap this with the bacon is actually gonna help out with keeping it from drying out. So that being said, when we're smoking it, it's about an hour smoke. When the bacon is done, basically the pheasant is too.
So basically what you're saying, Bob, is bacon makes everything better, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
I like bacon.
Yeah.
I like the gaminess of any type of wildlife.
Yeah.
Deer, elk. I've tried a lot of different meats. I don't think I've ever tried bear, but I've tried a lot of different kinds of meats. But as far as the gaminess on the poultry side, I don't think I've ever had pheasant before. Bob's going to tune me in on this, but I do like food.
Yeah, and once again, this isn't my recipe. I'm a avid YouTuber of different things, and I like to try different things.
So you're kind of like me. You're not a sous chef or a pit master or anything like that. You just do it for fun.
Honestly,
find a good recipe, and
I don't like. You know, I do a lot of. We call it garage tailgating for football games, and I like to try to come up with different new things. And
tell me who you like.
Oh, we're fighting Irish.
Go
baby.
Irish! Yes.
So that being said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these and cut them all in half.
So you're going lengthwise on them.
Yep.
Okay.
We're just gonna slice them right down the middle. And too, with any game like this, rabbit, whatever, you know, you do typically use a shotgun, so while you're doing this process, be mindful of possibly a couple pieces of shot rolling out on you, you know. So, you know, you don't want to bite into something like that because you break a tooth off or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, I went through and just, you know, you don't want all that fatty meat on there, so just go through and clean all that
Get
up.
all the fattiness off of it. Yep.
So after you get that sliced up, what we're going to do is I'm going to go through and just make little chunks like this.
Maybe about an inch or so.
Yeah, nice little bite-sized chunk. You know, these pieces like that, we'll just
discard them.
Discard that, or if you have a hunting dog, he might like them.
Hunting dogs like to eat too.
Just nice little pieces.
Yep, perfect little bite-sized pieces. Looks like he's about an inch on each one.
Yeah.
Inch, 3/4 of an inch, somewhere around in there.
None of this is precise, mind you. I mean,
just. But you do want to be mindful. You want to try to get them all about the same size, probably, because you want them to finish off all at the same time.
Yeah, you want some uniformity to them, but.
How long have you been doing your backyard grilling?
Oh, we've been in it, a couple years now.
Yeah.
It just, you know, it went from kind of you know, as everything, it just kind of grows, you know, and you know that.
Yes, I know that feeling.
So, you know, like I said, I like to just throw new things out there, and
Sure.
Here we are, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way I got into it. I started back in the mid '90s. My first smoker was an offset smoker. I still have that thing today, but I went to Rib Fest over in Fort Wayne, and I thought to myself, man, this is awesome. I love ribs, and I want to learn how to make them. So I went and I bought me an offset smoker. It was a char broil or char griller. One of those. I think it's a char griller, and I taught myself how to do ribs, and then it just kind of ballooned from there. And now I opened up smoking hot grills here.
I mean, you know, my whole outlook on everything is when I'm cooking it, I know what's in it.
Yes.
And, you know, I can, you know, you want to go treat yourself, obviously, every once in a while, going to a restaurant and getting a good meal that way. But me, I like serving people.
Yes.
I like feeding people.
Yes.
And my wife likes my cooking. And so, you know, I have, and I've always told people, you know, I do tomahawk steaks. People, oh, those things are expensive. You know what? When you think about it, you know, you can't go out to a restaurant and buy a steak dinner for, you know, under $50.
Absolutely,
you know?
Absolutely.
And you know, you can go home
and you get the flavors that you want. Too.
Yeah.
You get the flavors that you want. Whereas when you go to a restaurant, and not putting any restaurants down, because I love going out and eating out as well, but at restaurants, what they have is what you get.
Yeah.
With your own cooking, you pick it out. You get your own flavors.
Exactly. And you know, the stuff that they have out now with, you know, he was talking about his first smoker. These smokers that they have out now, I mean, a lot of them are set it and forget it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you just...
Absolutely.
You know, they got them that way. You got the apps on your phones, and you can control your grill from your phone, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely, so, yeah. If Bob told me, hey, we need to bump this up to 400 degrees, I can go right there on my phone, which that's what I'm shooting this video with, but I could go right on my phone, and I could turn that Rectech up to 400 degrees right from my phone. Wouldn't have to touch the thing. So,
and you know, I started off, my first smoker was a charcoal freaking, you know, with the water in the pan thing. And on a day like this, or in winter, if you're out there smoking, you're freezing your butt off because you're having to constantly babysit that thing.
Yep.
You know, with a grill like this Rectech, you could sit inside your house in your recliner watching your football game or whatever and check it out.
That's what I like about it. And the other cool thing is let's say you want to put a pork butt on, and it's going to take 10 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
But you need to bump the temperature up a little bit.
Yeah.
After 5 or 6, 7 hours, with the meat probe that I was showing you earlier, you can actually be at work.
Yep.
And bump the temperature up. It's,
or you know,
make them so easy.
Even you can with something like that too. There's even certain, like an app I have for my smoker. I mean, I don't have a Rectech, I have Pit Boss.
Sure.
But on my app, I can actually set, and it has an alarm on there to where when I get to a certain point of a temperature, it'll let me know, and then I can go out and, like I said, I don't put a lot of stock in those probes. I go out and probe stuff by myself. It's a reference point. It's about all it is, especially if you're doing a true brisket.
Yep.
I mean, when, you know, that's a, you know, TLC type cook right there.
Oh, that's a very TLC.
You know, then, so, you know, you gotta be pretty vigilant on that. I mean, I've actually slept out in my garage cooking brisket. So.
The wifey can attest to that.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna get this going. We're using thin sliced bacon, and you know, so what I do is when I get this off of here, Yeah, my knife didn't cut that very well. Get it off of here and give it a little bit of a stretch, you know, just a little bit. And you just take your, well, what we want to do first, and I jumped ahead the gun here. What I'm going to do is I am going to season this a little bit, these cubes that we cut.
We're going to put that Willie's Pete on there.
We're going to get a little bit on there. So, you get some seasoning on there, just move it around, and then, you can take and clean up the board with it too, Just clean up that board with whatever seasoning you have laying on there. You don't want to waste it.
Now, one thing Bob forgot to show you is on this, this is the drippies.
Yep.
So this can fold up. So if you're inside doing this and your wife or husband gets mad at you because you got seasoning all over the counter, this drippies is phenomenal. It contains the seasoning when you're hitting your meat or vegetables or whatever. Keeps it all inside. That way when you go to wash things off, all you got to do is just wash this off, and your wife or husband's not mad at you because you got the counter space all seasoned up either. But we're outside, so if we get seasoning on the ground, my dog loves it.
So I'm going to spread that out a little bit, give it a little bit of stretch, and we'll take one of these and just
kind of wrap it up.
Roll her right up in there. It's nothing real special about it.
So basically a shotgun.
Yeah, and you don't really have to use toothpicks, because what I'm going to do is place these where that end of that bacon is. I'm going to place it on our little rack like that.
Oh, okay.
And what we'll do is we'll cook that for about a half hour like that, and then we'll come out and turn them and flip them for about another half hour. And then at that point, we'll come out and probably sauce them up.
So you just put these on a little raised rack, or heck, a cookie cooling rack would work.
Yeah, you don't want it directly on your grate right there, right? Because it, as small as they are and everything, it's just
it'll shrink it up and maybe fall through the grate, and then
so what I'll do here is wrap a few of these up, and we'll get them, get some seasoning on the outside of these, and just to spare the time of the, if you watching this part of it, because I think you get the idea of it. We'll cut off here.
So there we go. We'll be back in a few.
Yep.
We're back out here, and we're maybe about an hour into where we left off with the pheasants. And maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours in on the pork belly brisket. So, Bob, what you doing here, Bob?
I'm just saucing these up here, and here in about 10-15 minutes we'll be pulling these off and giving them a good taste test.
Oh yeah. Like I said, they've been in there roughly about an hour, give or take. So we didn't really keep track of time, but just open the hood up, and what we're doing is we're using our 3-beer barbecue sauce, and I just put it in a little tin, and Bob's just got a brush that he's just brushing the barbecue sauce on. So,
you guys can sauce these however you want to. I mean,
this is just what we're using today. But yes, you come out here to Smoking Hot Grills, pick your own sauces out. We've got some on sample that you can taste test, things of that nature. That way you can pick out the right sauce for what you're cooking. A lot of people ask me what my favorite sauce is, and my next question to them is always, well, what are you cooking? It just depends on what you're cooking. Different sauces go with different different meats, and mood plays into it as well. You know, there's a lot of times where I want something spicy, and then there's times where don't want spicy so much. So there's a lot of variables when it comes to saucing your food up, don't you think, Bob?
Oh yeah, I mean, it is very much a mood thing.
Yeah.
And it all depends on who you're hosting too.
Absolutely. You got to play to your field too. You know, if you got people that don't want barbecue or spicy, you got to find something that's not spicy, or else you're going to have a lot of leftover food.
I often, you know, when we do our little tailgate thing, I make about 2 of everything, you know, and I flavor them, throw out different flavors.
There you go.
So there's options.
So about 10 minutes or so, we'll be back out here. We'll see you back then. Now we're back out here, and what we're getting ready to do is Bob's getting ready to probe the pork belly brisket around here. And
notice I'm not going into that fat cap. I'm going into the meat part about midway. We're showing about 159 on that one. About 165 on that one. So we're going to hold those on there till about 200. Pull them off, rest them, and then cut into them and see how we did.
Right on. Now what are we getting ready to do over here with these guys?
We're getting ready to pull these off, and we are going to taste test here in a little bit. We're going to naturally let them cool down a little bit. But these are our pheasant bites.
Right on. So what you're getting ready to tell me, Bob? We get ready to eat.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna start.
That's the best part of barbecue.
Yeah, we're gonna start seeing how our work turned out. So
now we're back out here, and Bob just informed me that he's ready to cut into one of these pheasants, these bacon wrapped pheasant bites, and test it out. And I was like, oh, hold on, I'm ready for this. So. We're going to turn the camera around to Bob. Let you go. All right. So we got the Drippy's cutting board coming in handy again. Woo!
There it is. There we go. Looks like breast meat.
Look at that. That's a money shot right there.
So I think, you know, it's time to maybe throw one of these down the hatch and see how they are.
All right. You go first, man.
I'm game on that.
I see what you did there. Game, pheasant. I got it, man. All right. Let me bite. Oh. If you guys could be inside my mouth, woo, this is good. What's your conclusion on this?
Hey, man, I'll eat those all day long. Perfect little appetizer. I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, you could make this with chicken, you know.
You could probably even do it with turkey, don't you think?
I would think so.
I mean, that wouldn't be my first choice, but you can do it with turkey if you want to be really, really healthy about it.
Yeah.
You could really do it with turkey, but this pheasant, I tell you what, wow.
I mean,
I've never had pheasant before, but Bob, you just opened my eyes.
I just, you know, like I said, I like to try different things, and, well, here it is, guys. I mean, I wish, you know, you could just taste this to what we're tasting right now.
So again, the best part of making food for everybody is wrong, Bob, but when I make food, I like getting the first bite.
Yeah.
That way you know whether to put it out or not.
And I'm my own worst critic.
Yes.
And the thing about it is like I said earlier, I like feeding people. And I think, you know, it brings smiles, man.
I'm gonna get me another one of these. We're here at Smoking Hot Grills. Again, with this, we used the 3-beer barbecue sauce. Now, it says you can add beer to it. We did not add beer to it. We just did it straight up. And I tell you what, that barbecue sauce is kick-ass.
And between the seasoning we put on it, I mean, it's a flavor bomb. And the bacon, you know, the bacon truly kept that breast meat moist. You know, because if you'd have just thrown them on the smoker without anything on them, or with a brine, it'd been like chewing on shoe leather. And
yeah, you know what? I've tried shoe leather before. It's not good. All right, we'll be back at you once these pork belly briskets get off. Bob, hey, I truly appreciate you coming out here to Smoking Hot Grills, making these awesome little flavor bombs. I mean, he calls them pheasant bites. I'm gonna call them flavor bombs because that's what they are. They're just explosion in your mouth. It's so good.
And
so,
you know, this is everything we're using here. Once again, is what he sells, that they sell out here at Smoking Hot Grill. So you guys need to stop by and get you on some of this stuff.
Right on. See you in a little bit. All right, y'all, we're back out here, and we're going to do a little probing here. Probing right into the meat, and we're at 170, 175, let's call it, on that one. And this one, we're up to 180, 188. So the front part's giving a little bit warmer temperature, more of a hot spot on the Rectech RT700. So what we're going to do here you go, Bob, is we're going to flip-flop these. Now, I want to show you.
You're going to be able to tell a lot by flexing that fat cap's going to start getting really loose on there.
So, and you can tell it is getting a little looser. Now this one here, we've got a good mark on it, and it's starting to break up down here on the bottom, but it's not near. We got a little bit of a pull there.
Yeah.
So, but we're gonna let it ride here. Let me get this glove off here. We're gonna close the hood down. We closed the hood down. I would say we're probably within 45 minutes to an hour, right thereabouts. The one that we put towards the back, within a half an hour to 45 minutes, because it's got about a 10 degree difference on the other one, but we'll see what happens flip-flopping them there. But I would say within half an hour to an hour, we're going to be back out here, and we're going to take them off. And Bob, am I right? We're going to put them right here on the Drippy's board and let it rest for how long?
I'd say half hour. And
half an hour or so.
Let them juices, spread out through the meat, because you don't want to cut into them and right away, because you're just going to lose all that juice. You want that to spread out through the meat, and we'll see how we did on these.
Right on. We'll be back at you. So we're back out here, and we're going to give her another probing here. So Bob, go ahead. Let's take a look in here. All right. Just putting that right in the meat portion of it. Looked like it went in like butter, and it's at 195. That's on the back one. And then that front one, we're right up at 187. That one looked like it had a little resistance when you went in. But you can tell on this back one, which I'm showing you right here, see how that bark is starting to come apart a little bit there. That means that that fat is rendering down into the meat, and it's probably about ready. Like I said, when Bob put that probe in, it looked like it went in there like butter. So cook to probe tenderness. Don't cook to a temperature tenderness. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull this off. Bob's going to hold on to the camera while I put some gloves on. Grab it, put it right on. We're going to shut that lid, let that front one cook up a little bit more.
Oh man, smell it.
Oh yeah, that smells so good, dude. So now what we got, we just put it right onto the Drippy's cutting board. So what we're going to do is, might want to go up another level. Go ahead, turn it up another level there. What did I do with the lid? So I don't have the right lid out here, so I'm going to put this on for right now, and then we're going to come back and put the right lid on. But there we have it. So that one's ready. We're going to let it rest for about half an hour or 45 minutes or so, and then we'll be back out. Any last words, Bob?
No, I'm just ready to try this thing.
Right on. And we're back. So we've got Bob out here with his masterpiece.
Not all that, but we're gonna find out
again
real quick.
This is a pork belly brisket, Bob, and I tell you what, the whole process has been fun to work with here. So Bob's got his slicer out, and we're going to slice into this thing.
Now a knife like this is good to use, I mean, if you don't want to mess your bark up. So there we go. I mean,
oh man, look at that. Oh my gosh.
So I'm gonna cut maybe a couple 1/4 to 1/2 inch slices here, and we're gonna get down on this thing.
Oof. Wow. Look at those juices just ooze out of there, Bob. I can't wait to get into this thing.
All right, so I'll do this.
So the artist always gets the first piece.
All right, I'm gonna try this. Oh man, I mean, it's just like, look at that. That's limp under its own weight, and you know that's kind of what you want. You know?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Money?
It's money.
All right, that's what you want. You want that fat to just kind of melt right into your mouth,
just like butter.
Yeah, yeah. I know. Me personally, Janine and Tate don't like getting into that fat. They always cut that off, and they try to throw it away. But before they throw it away, I snatch it from them, because that's sometimes. All right, so here we go. Here's my piece. Oh, look at that, just dripping off of there. Wow. Oh. Got my leg kicking.
Yep. That's the look right there.
Bob, I tell you what, that was phenomenal. Thank you very much for coming out here to Smoking Hot Grills and showing me something new. I've never done one of these briskets or pork belly briskets before. I don't even think I'd really heard of it before. So I'm glad that you introduced me to it, and I'm gonna try one myself.
I was glad to come out and do this, man. I mean, whatever I can do to help you and your business happen, you know, we'll do this. You might see me a couple more times. I don't know. It all depends on if he invites me back or not. Some of his syrups out here that he carries.
This is that bourbon barrel maple syrup right here.
So we're gonna, you know, maybe smear a little bit of that on one of these. And
here, let me get that. All right.
See how this works out. Oh, that was a little much, but
that's all right. It'll get 8. I guarantee you that.
So we're gonna try this out. I'm gonna tell you what. This is gonna be like flavor bomb.
It looks like it.
Oh my. Phenomenal.
Juices just running all down your chin. That's awesome.
That right there.
All right. Oh, this is mine. Sorry we cut off right there at the end. But again, Bob, want to truly let you know how much I appreciate you stopping out here, Smoking Hot Grills. Stop on out, 7940 Old Tile Factory Road. I'm still slicing this up, and I tell you what, wow, is it phenomenal. Get out here, 7940 Old Tile Factory Road here in Van Wert. Get you some of this and yumminess. And again, if you need the recipe, just give me a call and I will get it to you, or stop in, because this thing is phenomenal. So I want you to watch the juices here. Oh, look at the juices just seeping out of there. That's so awesome. I love it.